Hi everyone, welcome back to MJS Coaching Football and thank you for watching my channel because I do really appreciate it. Today in my continuing drill playlist, I'm going to share with you one of the drills that we do with our linebackers for sure, we do with our defensive backs and even with our defensive line. It's what we call a two-way pop-up tackle drill. It's for close quarter tackles, typically within the box or even in the open field when the back kind of runs out of space. It becomes a close quarters tackle. And there's a primary focus of the drill, safety always being at the top of the list. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here. I'm going to go through how we set it up and how the drill executes, efficiently. And then I'll go through the key coaching points, okay? So as you can see here, I have LB, that's the linebackers. PU stands for the pop-up. And then RBs are the running backs. And then coach, right, speaks for itself. And we do this on a scrimmage line because for tangible landmarks, we just have the backs line up on, in the case of linebackers, the backs line up on the guards. The linebackers, inside linebackers, line up on the guards as they normally do in our 3-4. Okay, so it's very easy to get things lined up that way. So that's the first thing in the setup is we use a scrimmage line for that reason. Kids got to pick up their feet. It's college football. We don't really run into a whole lot of tripping over the scrimmage line and that sort of thing. If you find that you do, use bags or something or dot cones that you can step on. Just make sure you use a tangible landmark or you waste time. Okay? The pop-up lines up on the center on the scrimmage line, and we try to use a 6-foot pop-up so it blinds the vision slightly, okay, of the linebacker by design. As I said, we line up the running back and linebackers on the guards. It begins on the running back, okay? So when the running back runs, that's when the linebacker begins his pursuit. The running back attacks the pop-up here, okay, and then he on his own, he either cuts behind and across or he cuts back on the same side, okay, or what we call backside. Then after the rep, the running back goes to the back of the linebacker line, the linebacker goes to the back of the running back line, right? Pretty straightforward, but if you don't coach it up, it won't necessarily happen. And then we make sure everybody gets 2 reps each as a linebacker, one left and one right. Okay, pretty simple. And that's where if you use the scrimmage line, the pop-up stays, you just bump the running backs and the linebackers over to the other guard. There it is, boom, done. So what are the key coaching points, right? Well, first of all, as always, we want to press the running back's back hip, right? Deny the cutback. Force the running back to go across your face, right, where you have all your power. The linebacker needs to finish with what we call a proper fit. I mean, tackle through the back hip, okay? And the way we make sure that happens is when I get to number 4, there's all the different components of the body that are involved in a tackle, a real tackle. We need to see that in this drill. Okay, so make sure you're coaching it up that way. And it's like most things. If you don't do it the way you will live in this drill, you won't do it that way live. Something won't be right. You won't finish the arm drive, or you won't make the contact with the chest. You won't finish, you won't clamp, right? All the different aspects of a good, safe tackle. Okay? And the key here in number 3, we do this in helmets. We can do it in uppers. We do it in full pads. Okay, that's the safe part of the drill. So when we're in helmets, we do have the running backs carry a shield for everybody's protection. It's not on the slide, but in helmets we just have a shield. It's pretty simple. And then they just pass off the shield. Like he flips to the next guy, we're gone. Okay? So now here are the real key technique coaching points. So when you're working to your left, right, okay, as you see here, the near foot is the left foot. The near shoulder is the left shoulder. So as you attack the back hip, in this case, going to the left foot should be up, the left shoulder, right? Same shoulder, same foot. Contact with the chest. That means your head is up, not down. Your eyes are looking through the target, drive the arms up and through. So what that means is don't stop. There's a tendency for young players to stop their arms up and through. And what we like to call a clamp, when you get up and through, you want to clamp your hand, one hand over the other. We say strong hand over. It doesn't really matter if it's left over right or right over left. Just clamp. And then that becomes an extremely difficult tackle to break. When you finish arms up and through and clamp, and so your arms are around the ball carrier, okay, that becomes a very difficult, if not impossible, tackle to break. Meanwhile, you're driving your legs all the while. Okay? So as an example, a little tweak, when we're in full, we'll want this, and so this is a defensive drill. We don't have the running backs fight a whole lot, and we don't waste time carrying a ball because the ball will sometimes fall on the ground, and the defender gets all focused hot and heavy on getting the fumble instead of finishing, right? We don't use a ball. When we're in full, we'll drive our legs until the running back's on the ground. Drive them to the ground all the way, finishing with a clamp. So when you can, if you can. I mean, we're not even able always to. We couldn't film this spring. I was hoping to film all these drills this spring. We weren't able to. We just didn't have the personnel to do it, meaning we didn't have available people to film in all these different areas. Have a camera behind or on the side so you can see everything, including whether or not the linebacker is clamping. Okay, and it's strictly an educational teaching drill, and you don't have to film the drill every single day. Just once in a while, certainly in the preseason, so it gets in the players' minds what it is you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so that is what we call our two-way pop-up, because the back can go two ways, right? Which is realistic. It's a close quarters tackle, even in the open field. When the running back's running out of real estate, it becomes a close quarters tackle. So that's why all of our positional groups on defense run this drill. So as it says, if you have any questions here, Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com, because I would love to talk football with you.